Today's little live video is actually by a viewer request. Somebody commented asking if I would ever do a live plant with me video, and I've never done one, but I was up for the challenge. So today we are planting some Russian blue potatoes in my backyard garden. We are also planting Carmen red onions, more potatoes. This is a red Viking potato. And we have some yellow onions. Stugart yellow. I guess that's how you pronounce it. So I've kind of sort of decided where things are going. I know where the potatoes are going, not 100% certain on the onions. And we have a lot of onions to plant. We actually have 160. For me, I've never planted so many onions. That is going to be an epic onion planting marathon. I've got some amendments. We're going to be using bone meal definitely on the onions. Probably going to put some of this in the potato planting area too. And sea soil. So let's get started. I have cleared in space in the garden. I'm gonna have a drink before we get started. I just started digging a little kind of hole trench for the potatoes. And I wanted some input if anyone shows up to watch on my location. I might want to change my mind about where these potatoes are being planted. I'll show you why in a minute. I'm gonna have the camera on a tripod and I hope it's not gonna fall over, but we will see. This is one of the challenges of doing a live stream. You can't edit it, and hopefully you pick a good spot to put the camera. So let's venture into the garden. Before we take our stuff, we gotta dig some trenches and holes for these potatoes. Let me show you first what I started. Flip the camera around. Uh-oh. Hello. Phone is not cooperating with the gloves on. I gotta take the gloves off. Okay, so this is where I started digging. I have a lot more digging to do. Now, I did a little bit of trench composting in this area and it's not fully broken down yet, and I don't know if that's going to be a problem for planting potatoes. I will show you a little closer. There's lots of matter still in here that has not broken down, but that's what I was thinking of. That's where I was thinking of putting the potatoes. I need to spread it out a little more with the digging, but you talk about what? We're talking about planting potatoes, and I have a bunch of organic matter in the soil that isn't broken down yet. So I'm not sure if that will be a problem for planting potatoes. I hope it's not going to cause them to rot. Where am I from? I am from Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. Where are you from? Funny animals, thank you for stopping in. I'm going to start digging in a minute, but I won't be right on the camera when I'm digging. Like, I will be on the camera, but I won't be in the chat exactly. So I was going to answer your question first. I'll grab my tripod. And we have to start the digging pretty soon. Tripod is here. So let's see where we can put you guys that you can see. This is the thing. My tripod is not so sturdy, so I'm hoping it's not going to fall over in the wind. Whoa. Okay. Let's put you in here. Now, I think we need to... Can we turn the camera around? And then we're going to go a little lower. Yes. So, Tar Baby Yoda, thank you. Grandma Sandy, hello, welcome. I am planting potatoes and I'm about to dig a trench or a hole. So I'm on the camera, but I don't know if I'll be able to see the chat for the whole time, although it's I got a pretty good position on the tripod, I must say. I am surprised because I didn't think I would do so well. Now there's a lot of organic matter in here that hasn't broken down yet. I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem with the potato growing, that it's not going to cause them to rot prematurely. Most likely not, but I guess it's an experiment. We will find out. You're braver than me. I've never done a live, never using the tripod outside. Oh, well, there's a first time for everything. So, I have grown potatoes a few times over the years. I have harvests that are okay. We're trying a new strategy, and I think I have two potential problems. Not fluffy enough soil is one of them, and I've talked to a coworker about this, so who is into farming. I have a solution. We're adding sea soil, and most sources say you should go about 6 inches deep, so we're aiming for roughly 6 inches. I'm doing a deep potato method planting as opposed to a shallow method, or one that you use straw, that type of thing. And I have a lot of potatoes to plant. They recommend planting potatoes in rows, but I'm going for more of a circular kind of mounded effect. Once I get my holes a little bit deeper. Hello, PQ. I am going to plant some taters. Yes, two varieties. We're planting a Russian blue potato, and I can't remember what the other one is, but I think it's yellow, I want to say. I just said it at the beginning of the live stream, but my memory isn't perfect. And this, I'm going to show you my shovel. Oh, man. Here's some organic matter again. That's what the soil is. My shovel, this is really good for digging deep holes. This is I don't know what the name for it is, but it's very pointed. Awesome for digging holes in the garden. Hey, Grandma. Sandy. I am probably going to have to go against some of the rules of spacing potatoes because I don't know if I have enough space. I think it said they want you to space them 10 to 12 inches apart, and I usually do break the rules, so we're probably going to go for more like 3 to 5 inches max. So I think what I'm going to do, once I have a deep enough area, I'm going to put a layer of sea soil on the surface, even though we're in the ground, and then I'm going to cover with the natural materials and cover with more sea soil. And we'll probably add some bone meal to the amendments as well. And I'm actually purposely planting away from my soaker hose because I don't want the potatoes to get too much moisture. I think we should reserve the soaker hoses for crops that need a little more water. I believe root vegetables, for the most part, potatoes and onions, you don't want them as wet as you would, say, tomatoes, bell peppers, watermelon, pumpkins, squash. Any of those varieties need more water usually. So potatoes and onions can go a little further away from the water supplies. And I am going to give you guys a little garden tour, probably when some of the plants are in the ground. We're going to kind of go back and forth between planting and doing a little vegetable garden because there's lots growing already. It's a whole spade. Oh, good to know. That's a good name for it, I guess. So, I'm gonna grab my potato containers and I think we're gonna start planting. So, I'm back. I'll give you a little show and tell before we get started. We are planting a Russian blue potato today, and this is a late summer variety, so not harvesting right away, but I'm gonna probably mix it right in with my early variety. And my earlier variety is a red Viking potato. I'm not sure how many are in each container, but I will find out. Hello, Minty, welcome. So I'm going to be amending the planting area with bone meal. I have not tried this before, but it has been recommended by a variety of sources to try bone meal for a bigger potato harvest. I normally just use my native soil here, and I do okay, but I feel like I could do better with my potato harvest. So that's why I'm trying bone meal. And I have used sea soil before, but we're gonna do a layer on the bottom and a layer on the top. I'll show you. This is sea soil. It is beautiful, and this is made of organic matter from the sea. Seaweeds, kelps, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna be putting a thin layer of this in the bottom of my planting area, and then again on the top. I'll see if I can put the camera so you can see. See if you can go down a little more. Can you see the planting hole? Don't know, but we're gonna work with that. I've got my sea soil here, and I'm just putting a thin layer into the bottom of this planting area of the sea soil, and it's definitely mixed with lots of organic matter here. You just subscribed. Well, thank you. Welcome. You will find a lot of gardening, a lot of fairy gardens, and a lot of nature on this channel. I do love going into nature, going for walks, doing some meditations, and forest bathing in the forest and by the waters and creeks of Vancouver Island. More magnesium and calcium. Yes, I probably am needing more magnesium and calcium. So I'm just adding this sea soil here to the planting area. And I'm going to add this video, if you are just joining me now, was actually a request from a commenter and subscriber to my channel. So if you have any video requests, let me know in the chat or comment on the video. Most of the time, I'd say 98% of the time, if there is a request, I will actually make the video. If it's something I think is pretty reasonable, and most of the time it has been. I've only gotten a few viewer requests, but usually you guys have the best video ideas. So if you have anything that comes to mind, I'm always looking for more ideas to get me inspired and creative in the garden or in nature. If you think I should go somewhere and do a meditation or a forest bath that you have heard of on Vancouver Island, let me know. I am a native islander on Vancouver Island. I was born and raised here. So I think that is actually not bad. I'm going to see if I can give you a better picture of my planting area. I'll take off my gloves and take off the tripod. Hope it doesn't fall over. So far, so good, Grandma Sandy. We're crossing our fingers. So this is my planting hole. I'm sitting on the sea soil, and this is what it looks like. I've amended with a thin layer of sea soil the whole planting area. And now we are going to add the bone meal. And this is an organic fertilizer. I use this for garlic, and it is so effective. So I think we're going to try it for the potatoes and the onions. See how it does with onions and potatoes. If you've never used bone meal, this is what it looks like. It can look different, but that's kind of a good example of what it looks like. And there's no odors or anything like that. And it is pet friendly. Bone meal is 100% safe for pets. Well, I shouldn't say that. My golden retriever, my garden supervisor, Zipper Man, who passed away, when I planted potatoes in previous seasons and other things, I personally use organic fertilizer because, especially bone meal, he loved to get into it. He would eat mouthfuls of the bone meal after I planted it, and he never got sick once from the bone meal. I don't know if he was lucky or if it's actually 100% safe for pets. I think it is, but I'm not guaranteeing that. So if you have a pet, be careful, but I think as far as I know, it is pet safe. So that's one of the reasons that I am so careful when I had a dog of what kind of fertilizer I use, because you don't want your pets getting sick if they're into everything. Thank you so much, my dear friend. On to another inspirational video. Okay, Grandma Sandy, have a nice afternoon, evening. So we are just going to amend the planting area for these potatoes with the bone meal. I think that's looking pretty good. We've got sea soil and bone meal here. I'm gonna add you back to the tripod now. Let's see here. How low can you go? I don't know. And we're gonna start planting our potatoes. And I change the angle a little bit more. Ooh, didn't know I could open that with my hands. So we have these potatoes and they're so ready to be planted. They have got little shoots coming out of all sides. I had them in the garage for quite a while, so their time has definitely come to be planted in this planting hole. And I think I'm gonna see if I can hold the camera with one hand. Uh-oh. I'm gonna try to hold you guys with one hand so you can see my planting here. Let's see. So there's the first one. Now, I think the internet recommends about 10 to 12 inches apart. We're not following that. We're gonna aim for more like, I'm gonna say that's probably about 6 to, oh, it might be 10. Some of them will be closer than others. And just get these guys planted. And if you're new here, my garden is on central Vancouver Island in a zone 7 to 8 for growing. Hi, Barb. Welcome. Yes, I am planting some potatoes. Happy dinner. And we'll see you later. Some more potatoes in this planting hole. This is going a lot better than I expected. I actually anticipated the live stream would have a lot of problems and that my camera and tripod would have problems, and so far, so good. Things are going pretty well. I think we'll just sneak that one in there. And even this planting hole I thought was going to have issues, and it is just going so smooth. That is so lovely. So I have another variety. We got all of this one planted. That is super good. Now we have Russian blue. We're going to try to aim for that section of the planting hole. And we'll just move over there in a second while I open this up. Okay, this one, oh, this is a small bag of potatoes. I thought there'd be more. There are literally, I think we've got 5 or 6 in this bag, but that's fine. It's all good. I'm gonna move you to another quadrant of the garden. Hopefully you still have a good view over here. And if you are new, we are planting potatoes. This is a Russian blue variety. And I've amended the planting hole with sea soil and bone meal. And I'm breaking some of the spacing guidelines for potatoes, but we're trying not to break them too badly in this planting session. So that is my potatoes. Now we are going to cover them, and I'm going to actually do a thin layer of sea soil, native soil, and then more sea soil. And I'm sort of pressing the potatoes down just a wee bit more as I plant them. I think that might be a good thing. Get them slightly deeper. And covering with this beautiful sea soil. It's very similar to organic seaweed extract if you've ever used that before or had access to it. Similar micronutrients, that kind of stuff, and all the stuff from the ocean is really good plant fertilizer, whether it is fish food, fish fertilizer, or seaweed extract, kelp meal, sea soil. These are all really good soil amendments for your vegetable garden or your flower garden, really. All plants seem to thrive when you give them organic matter from the ocean. So I'm just covering with a thin layer of sea soil. Now we're going to top with the native soil. And I'm not 100% certain how thick we're going to go, but we'll get it done here. And I'm going to put my little plant markers in so we remember what is here. The world needs more of this. Well, thank you. You're very kind. The world needs more gardeners in general, regardless of who's in the garden. The earth could benefit from more gardeners out in the world. So we're just covering with the native organic soil. Organic. It is organic, I guess. And I'm going to add some more sea soil, a thin layer on the top. From my bag of sea soil here. And then I'm going to give you a mini garden tour before we plant the onions. Onion planting is next on the agenda, but I thought I would do a little intermission and show you some of the other vegetables in the garden right now. Okay, I think that's pretty good for this little potato area. So next, we're doing a mini garden tour before we plant onions. Just gonna take off my gloves and turn the camera back around. Take you off the tripod. So, we are at ground level right now, and what you are looking at are some of my many garlics. I have so many garlics planted this season. They're at the back. All those long greens are garlic greens that are coming up. And if we come up, this is a pea trellis here. And the peas have just started to sprout. And I'm thinking I might actually do some pea transplanting. I have some peas in containers I will show you right over here. if I feel like things are still going well in the garden, I might add that to the end of this live stream. We'll do a little garden tour, plant the onions, and then maybe transplant some peas towards the end. Still thinking about that though, not sure yet. Digging potatoes is your favorite activity. Oh my gosh, it is so fun in the fall, summer, fall. It feels like digging for buried treasure. It literally is the funnest activity. I'm back temporarily. Welcome back, Barb. I'm doing a mini vegetable garden update before I get to planting onions. That is the next task. So right in front of me, these were my Dollarama greenhouse. And in a recent video, I evicted some tomato plants from my indoor food garden. And I know it is too early to plant tomatoes on Vancouver Island in a zone 7 to 8 in April. We typically do that in early May all the way to early June. That is our planting time for tomatoes. And I took a chance because I have so many planted right now inside the house and in milk jugs that if they die, it doesn't matter. But let me show you the results. They've been outside for, I say two-ish weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks now, something like that. So I expected some of them to die. If you watch that video, the one right here, when I made the video, I broke the roots. I expected it to die, but I planted it anyways. And it's probably dead, but it might still have life. So I'm leaving it in the soil for now. This one here is alive and was doing better, but we had high temperatures today and I did water, but I think it actually wilted a little bit from the high temperatures we had earlier. So that's a little unfortunate. I don't think it's going to die though. I think there's still a bit of life left there. I'm not sure what's going on with this. I think I might just pull that off. But I don't think this one is going to die. And if it does, it's not a big deal, but I still think there's hope for this one. And over here, this one also wilted a little bit with the greenhouse on it. I did water it, but it just got too hot. So there is still hope. I'm not going to pull it out. But the one over here is doing the best out of all those that I just showed you. Seems to be living its good life in this corner. Now I'm going to show you my container planted tomatoes in those little DIY greenhouses that I constructed at the same time as those other ones, same day. So this is the little DIY greenhouse situation that I created with garbage bags and tomato cages. So let's peek into these little greenhouses and see how the tomatoes are doing. So at the top you can see there's water from my watering. I'm going to try to just put that into the plant if we can. And then let's do a peek into the container. These ones overall are doing quite a bit better than the vegetable garden ones, like the ones these are in grow bags. And for whatever reason, I do wonder if it's because they're black, and black typically generates heat. You're from Arizona and you use cloth bags. My mother-in-law in Wisconsin always had a huge garden. Too hot for sweet peas, darn it. Yeah, if you're in Arizona, I would think you would be a warm temperature. So the grow bags, I do wonder if they're generating heat, and that is why the tomatoes are doing better. I'm not sure because of the black color. So if we move along, this one is white garbage bags. Well, I guess this one is too, but I do have some black. And this one is doing okay, not quite as well as the first one, but it's definitely got life in it. It's doing better than the ones in the vegetable garden. This one might have succumbed, and I'm not sure why actually, but it's totally fine. I expected some deaths, so no problem there. Moving over, this one is actually doing the best. It loves its life in this black garbage can greenhouse and the black grow bag. It's actually doing really well in here. Just having a jolly old time. Moving over, if something happened to these ones, I don't know if something ate them, but that's what it looks like. I've actually never seen animals eat tomato leaves, and we don't get deer here, like we do, but not in the back garden. I don't know what would have eaten it. A rabbit? Would a rabbit eat tomato leaves? I don't know. I've only ever seen rabbits and squirrels back here, and not very often, so it's a little bit mystifying. What the heck happened here? I didn't remove those. That just, something came and they were gone. So I'm really not sure. It's a mystery to me what happened to this plant, but I probably will pull it out. I have more in the house, so most likely I will pull it out. I'm not going to do that right now. That's another project, but that is the status. Moving over here, now this one obviously has had some kind of damage. This I took off earlier. I don't know why this one isn't doing well, but I'll just pull it out. It's not a big deal. Caterpillar. Oh, that is an interesting proposition. I have definitely had caterpillars in this garden, not recently that I'm aware of, but maybe this is a caterpillar. I haven't witnessed any caterpillars, but that does make me wonder if it could be a caterpillar. What about a snail? I rarely ever see snails, but could a snail do that? The two animals. Hello, Howie. We're analyzing a tomato. Let me show you. This was one of those DIY greenhouses, and it looks like an animal ate my tomato leaves, which is highly unusual. But I have no other explanation for this. And we were talking about what animal could this be. So deer don't come here in the back garden. Rabbits and squirrels once in a blue moon. Aaron says he doesn't think it's snails. There was a comment about caterpillars. I don't know. I haven't seen any. It doesn't mean they're not here. I'm wondering about snails. The two animals that I see most frequently these days are snakes and lizards here. Now, I've never heard of snakes or lizards eating tomato foliage, but who knows? Maybe they do. Don't think on snails. They leave their slime trail. Female. So what animal could potentially have eaten these tomato leaves? I have no idea. Looks like you're a pro tomato killer. Yes, I knew that was going to happen. I expected some deaths. I love to play Russian roulette in the garden. It's like my favorite game. So it's okay if things die. I planted so many seeds, it doesn't matter. Rabbit. Well, I wonder if they would eat tomato. I've never seen them eat a tomato. That doesn't mean they don't. I only saw a rabbit come in here once when Supervisor was around, my old golden retriever who passed. And he saw the rabbit and he went tearing after the rabbit, but he was a slow dog. He could never catch the rabbit, but the rabbit was so scared it left under the fence and never came back. I wonder if it came back though. Supervisor's been gone for 3 months, and I've noticed more and more animal life in the garden since he's gone. So I think he might have scared a lot of animals away. Hello, Crystal. Why wouldn't it eat the other ones? That is a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that. I have no idea. I feel like I need a garden surveillance camera or something to see who's coming here. But even then, I don't know if I would really know, because if it was a snail or a caterpillar, it probably wouldn't be caught on camera. That is a good question, though. So let's move on. We have more to look at here. Or do we? Oh, no, we actually finished the tomato saga. Actually, I think we're going to move on to the onions now. Let's go to the onions section that we need to plant. So these are the onions I'm going to be planting. Yellow onion and a red onion, Carmen Red. So 160 onions. I've never planted that many onions ever in my life, so this is going to be very interesting. Now, my thought was to mix them with garlic. What do you guys think? Is mixing onion bulbs with garlic bulbs not too far? Is that a bad idea or a good idea? Does anyone, Howie, have you done that before? Mixed your onions and your garlics? I'm just wondering. I didn't actually research this. I don't usually mix them, but I could mix them. I feel like space-wise it would be good, but I don't know if that's actually a bad idea for the garden. So, that was my thought. I guess we'll start digging. Now, what does it say on here? Doesn't say much. Put them at a depth of 1 inch. Hold on, let me show you. 1 inch and 10 centimeters. 10 centimeters apart. We are definitely breaking those planting rules for 160 onion sets. That is way too far apart for me to get that many into this garden. So we're breaking a lot of rules today. And I guess I'll just get going. I'm just trying to figure out the best spot for this volume of onions. I think we're gonna mix them with the garlic. You've thought about mixing them, but haven't tried it. Well, I guess we're going to experiment today. Get the tripod back here. Alrighty. Turn you around. So, we are... can you see anything? Whoa. I pressed the wrong buttons on my phone and I ended up on some other strange screen. Is it just regular garden soil good for home vegetables? I think it depends on your soil. Most soils would probably be fine unless it's super infertile, and it would probably still grow. You just wouldn't get as good yields if your soil was infertile. I personally amend with sea soil and other organic fertilizers, but regular soil will get you something too if you plant in it. It could even be good soil that you have. You don't even know until you try planting something, really. Uh-oh. I keep pressing the wrong buttons when I put the phone down, so I gotta not touch it anymore. And then the phone goes to these weird screens and I have to quickly exit the screen before things happen that I don't want to happen. I'm going to get a digging tool. We are using a hand tool, well, something different. I actually misplaced the tool I was looking for, so this might not work for my purposes. This was the closest thing, which is not at all what I was looking for, but this is actually a lawn edger, like a handheld version from the dollar store, which is bent, that I bent. I'm gonna see if I can dig with this. I don't know how this is gonna go. See if I can move the camera a little bit more. And how deep? I think it said 1 and 3 inches deep on the package, so I'm gonna have to go fairly deep, I think. And we'll see if I continue with this tool. I'm not sure right now, but time will tell. It's going okay, and I'm getting pretty close to my garlics, but I guess that's okay. I think I'm going to plant these in segments. So I'm going to do like a line of them here, then we're going to move over a few inches or feet and put another line in. I think that's going to be the best method for me. Nice and warm today for the next few days. Yes, I didn't know what to wear today. I had jeans and a different shirt on earlier. I was in the garden, I cut the grass, I was totally gross. Changed my clothes, and then I had shorts on and I was cold. So then I put pants back on. It's such strange weather. So it just kind of, right now I'm actually too warm, but that's okay. I think it's about 16 degrees Celsius in the backyard right now, maybe 17. What am I planting? I will show you. We are planting red onions, and we are also planting yellow onions, 160 sets. I have never ever planted so many onions in my life, but I do actually share a lot of my produce. I share with my parents, I share with my brother, I share with my coworkers and my neighbors. So it does go to many people, and I thought about sharing with other people. I had a huge apple harvest last season, and peaches went bananas last year. So there will be enough to go around, and I kind of do that on purpose. If I have the space, I might as well fill it up and give it to as many people, and of course, consume it too, so it's good for the body. 85 degrees, that sounds warm. I don't think we're having a garden this year. I have live vicariously. Okay, sounds good. So I am going to go just slightly deeper, and then I'm going to amend with the bone meal again. One moment. We've got the bone meal back. If you've never used bone meal, this particular one is 2:11:0. I'm not sure. I don't think they're all the same, but probably similar ratios. Just going to put a sprinkle of that into the onion planting area. We plant tomorrow. Awesome. I've been procrastinating. This has been in my garage. Same with those potatoes for, I'm gonna say almost 3 weeks. I really put off this video because I knew that someone wanted a live video and I really wasn't sure how that was gonna go. But now that I'm doing it, I'm so happy that I did it, and I'm so happy they requested it. So that is what's happening. And there are my little onion sets, so cute and tiny. Let me show you the planting hole a little bit better. So I think I need to space these out a little bit more. That is kind of close together. You use bone meal too. I use it for garlic. I never tried it with onion actually. So this will be a good experiment. And I'm sure that's too close together, but I'm breaking the rules today and I'm gonna get dirty. I always wear gloves, but I'm kind of don't feel like putting them back on, so we're getting a little more dirty this afternoon. Just covering with my native soil here. Oh, I don't know if I made a reply. I'm not sure anymore. I'm just kind of going with whatever's at the bottom of the chat. I'm answering those questions. We're finished the first maybe 8 onions, and now there's like, I don't know, 140 left, something like that. Gonna dig another planting hole. We're gonna move a little bit further over. So this is where we just finished, and oh dear, this kale is growing in a very odd fashion. I think I'm going to put some back here. So the problem I have with this area is what you see here is lemon balm, and it takes over this whole section. But I'm going to be a rebel and plant kind of here, knowing that the lemon balm is going to invade it anyways, and hopefully that won't be a problem. There's crocosmia and onion over here, some lettuces kind of in the mix, kind of a mix of all kinds of stuff. This is leopard's bane, a flower, and this is a cabbage. It's a whole hot mix of stuff. So we're going to kind of plant another section of onion right here. I'll bring the tripod over so you can watch. Let's see, let's turn it around and put you back on the tripod. Oh, pretty soil. Well, thank you. I don't know if you can see very well there. Back up a little bit. Grandma Sandy, thanks for sharing how you get the garden ready. Oh, no problem. Thank you for stopping by. So, I'm going to grab my shovel, whatever this is, the edging tool, and we are going to do some more digging. And this is actually very rocky soil. These are typical rocks in Vancouver Island native soil. Very, very common. You see these all the time. I've been digging here for 10 years, so I've removed a lot, but I have wondered about that because of the volume that you take out of the earth when you've dug there for so many years. I think this is going to be a small planting area, but that's okay. Look at my bone meal. Where did I put it? Here it is. So, just going to add a little sprinkle and then put in a few more sets. I think maybe 4 or 5 max in that hole, and that's probably pushing it, but we're breaking the rules. So, where did I put them? stepping on them, of course. These ones are so petite. It's hard to believe this will grow into a full-size onion. Oh, there's bigger ones too. I think last season I planted a mixed variety bag of onions, which was really cool actually. I liked having different ones, but this is just 2 individual varieties here. And covered with the soil. So, still many more to go. You're a rock hunter and love rocks. Oh my god, I love rocks too. If you've watched some of my videos, I have a rock garden. When I made that garden, I made it for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to get rid of the front grass. I hate grass. 2, I had so many rocks from landscaping this property, huge rocks, that I needed to do something with them, and a rock garden was the perfect thing. But it's such a huge area that I ended up going to various properties in the city and getting free rocks that were really dirty, and I used a wire brush and I was physically scrubbing them. Put them in 5-gallon pails of water, soaked them for like a day or 2, took them out, scrubbed them more, pressure washed them, and put them in the garden. And then the colors that came out, oh my gosh, and I have some that actually sparkle. I got really into rocks at the time. I still don't really know the names, but there are some gorgeous rocks. If you uncover all the dirt from them, the earth produces the most beautiful rocks. We have rocks everywhere on our property too. I use them to keep my pets out of the planter. Oh yeah, nice. Yes, so let's move over. Where are we going first? That's a good question. My garlic, I think we need to move. I think we're gonna plant between that kale that I showed you actually. So the kale that is, I don't know if you can see it, right here between the kale and the garlic, we're going to put another few cloves or bulbs in this small section. I feel like I'm practicing square foot gardening. I've never really done that, but with my space limitations, I'm trying to cram as many bulbs in as possible. So I feel like this is a square foot gardening adventure. And just put in a few of these. That's probably too many, but when you have so many, what does it matter? And cover it up. And let's move to a new quadrant. Onions that should only be 1 to 2 inches below the soil. Well, they're not that deep, so I think we're okay. I'm going to move to another area. Now I have to decide where we should put another good volume of these. I almost think between the tomatoes and the garlic, the space, I'll point it with this shovel, kind of like right in here where the shovel is, like a line of them. The tomatoes, assuming they survive, and I do have more plants that will be planted here, kind of like a barrier between the tomatoes and the peas, a line of onions. So I think we're going to do that. Let's turn the camera around again. Let's see. And where should we put you guys? I think we're going to move you over here. And then I can do my digging. I have a lot of these leaves, which are basically mulch that I'm using from the fall. Some of them are on the surface and some of them are in the soil. So I'm just kind of going around all this organic matter here. Because most of it is in soil right now, I'm just digging up leaves. And I think I'm going to use sea soil this time. We're going to do something different. I'm going to put a thin layer of sea soil here because there's so many leaves, so that they have some actual soil to grab onto when they're growing. Let's take out more of this. Oh yes, the leaves. It can be a little too much sometimes, but they are good amendments for the soil, but they should break down, although mulching is good too with leaves. So I think we can get quite a few of the onions in here. These ones will be spaced a little bit better than some of those other ones that we planted. Let's see if you can move the camera a little more for your viewing. It's a lawn edger. It is a lawn edger. A custom lawn edger that was bent from some vigorous gardening activities. Well, this was a good planting area. I got quite a few in this area. So I think I'm actually going to cover this with sea soil, not the native soil, because there's so much leaf material in here. I don't think it's going to cover well. So I think if I cover with a good layer of sea soil, they'll have a better start. Pointy end up. Yeah, I'm kind of doing a mixture. Some of them are pointy, some of them are, I'm literally just putting them in. There's so many to plant. If it doesn't work out, I always feel like bulbs know where to go. For the most part, they figure out their what they need to do. But you're right, that is the proper way to do it. I just, I let the plants do a little work for me sometimes. I hope they're not sitting on my tomato plant, which is right behind me. I hope I didn't squish it, but I guess time will tell. Did anyone here do any planting today in their own gardens? Never tried it randomly. Now I'm going to cover with some of those leaves we were talking about, just a thin layer. I think they're a good mulch, and if it's not too thick, it should provide water retention properties and weed control, as well as a little bit of organic matter. I didn't want to put it directly where the bulbs were so that they could kind of adhere to the soil, but I think on top should be good. And we still have more to plant. I've got all of this plus a whole other package to plant. Going out in a bit to pot some flowers up I bought. Oh, what kind of flowers did you buy? I think we're gonna move to another location. Maybe I'll give you some more little garden tours as we go, make things a little more interesting. I have a few more things that you can have a look at while we're moving. Let's see here. I did not sit on the tomato plant. It is totally safe, so that is good. over here, these are some of my kale. I have kale coming out of everywhere. I'm gonna need to start eating kale smoothies every day. Like, holy smokes. This was all planted in the fall and I transplanted it. Did a video about it when I cleaned the garden, and it is doing super well. Definitely need to start harvesting. I didn't actually harvest these little ones yet, but pretty soon. Purple pansy, sweet williams, Pelsier, and cilantro. I don't know what a Pelsier is, but sounds interesting. Paisley, I still don't know what that is. Vinca, interesting. Oh, parsley. Oh, I know parsley. Very cool. Yes, so this is my kale area here. We've got more kale in this corner by the compost bin. Crocosmias over here. Those are flowers. And there's some more random garlics, another pea trellis, and I'm not sure if any peas have actually sprouted out here. Got some celery we're regrowing. This is the back end of the garden, more shaded here. And I did plant some cabbage starter plants a week or two ago, and they're just starting to grow now. More garlic here. So, and these are little bok choy transplants. Now, as far as the onions go, I am thinking perhaps we could do a line where that stick is. Why not just do a line or two of onions right here? I think that'll work out. Grab the tripod again. And my onions. You were supposed to up hot pepper plants. Oh. So, I got that. And let's go get the other container of onions. Bone meal here. The onions. When I'm all done, I'm going to do some watering, but I'm sort of holding off on the watering until we're finished with the planting. And what the heck did I dig up? I wonder what this is. It looks like roots of something, but looks dead, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay. More onions. Shovel. And I think that's all we need for this little area here. I missed a potato. I'm just going to stick that in to the potato section we did earlier. It's not very deep, but it's going to have to work like that. And we'll put you back on the tripod. Whoa, where should you go now? Let's turn the camera around. So, this is the section we're going to be digging in. And with a trusty shovel, let's get digging here. This is quite a different slope. I probably should have leveled it out more, but there's so much organic matter under the potatoes that kind of just ended up as more of a mound, but I'm not too worried about it. Although I don't know how the watering will go in the summertime. We saved ends rutabaga and put them in a soup. They were greening up. We'll probably do container potting this year. Oh, cool. I'm feeling under the weather, so no energy. Oh no! You need to have some more vitamin C if you can. More rocks in the soil. This is what happens to my soil. It clumps up and then I kind of just break it up. That's the native soil there. So, I think here I am going to do a layer of bone meal. And I have lots of sticks, organic matter that I put in. I just throw them away to the side. And hopefully I haven't butchered any worms. They're kind of all over the place here, and I really feel bad if I cut into them. Hopefully I haven't, but you never know. So, bone meal, where are you? This is almost empty. So now we're gonna put in our onions. Let's see if you can see. So in this hole, I'm getting quite a few onions, so that's good use of space here. I hope you feel better too. Get lots of rest, and maybe have some chicken noodle soup if that's something that you like. I always love chicken noodle soup if I'm not feeling the best. Planting into this slope here. I wasn't intending to, but it's kind of a good experiment. Yeah. I take a lot of vitamin C. I have like oranges, but I also have a drink. It's actually made on Vancouver Island. It's called Energy. It's different than Emergency, and it has 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, tons of B vitamins. It's like a powder, almost like a fizzy powder. Tastes delicious, different flavors, and you add it to your water. Really good vitamin supplement. And then I have another vitamin supplement and some greens I take because the immune system, oh gosh, you have to take care of it when you're always exposed to stuff all the time. I was getting sick for a while pretty often, so I'm getting a little better at making sure I take a lot of vitamins, more than you probably think you need, as well as eating healthy and trying to sleep better, all those things. This is kind of the onion zone, I'm thinking. I'm just putting them here, there, and everywhere. You know what? I'm gonna mix some with my potatoes. I don't know if that is actually a companion plant, like you should put them together, but we're gonna do it to save space, I think. You take onshore. Oh, okay, cool. So, I'm just going to put some, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is the potato planting area from earlier. I'm just kind of plopping them in because the soil is nice and fluffy that I added. I haven't covered this yet, but we'll do that in a bit. Just to get some of these guys in the ground, because 160 is a very good quantity of onion sets. So we're really mixing and matching crops this season like I've never mixed and matched before. So now I'm going to cover with some of my sea soil as well as the native soil, kind of mixed together. Never going to get another bag in. What about containers? Oh, for onions. No, actually, oh, hold on. Are you right? You might be right. Oh my goodness, you are right. 80, yes. Good point. I do have some grow bags. I don't know if I want to do containers though. I tried that last season. I had some on the ground and some in containers, and the container ones didn't do very well. Probably partly my watering, but that is a good point. I think I will find a way though. I'll get creative with the space and we will get them all planted. Yeah, you're right. There's still 80 left, so there's still a ways to go. But let's get these covered and then we'll find another good spot where I can just put a whole bunch of them. And I am going to label this one because I don't want to forget that there are onions here. This is a good area of onions. I'm going to get my plant tag. Okay, so we're going to move to a new spot. Now, where should we go next? I think I'm actually going to literally mix them all with the potatoes we planted. I don't know if you were here earlier. I think you were when we started planting potatoes. I'm literally going to spread them all out over that same area where the potatoes are. This could be a bad idea, but time will tell. So we're going to go back to the potato area right here. And they're just going to go on the surface here, and then I'm going to cover them again. I'm going to kind of lightly push them into the soil. And just kind of space them out. I mean, maybe this is bad because they'll compete with the potatoes, but I don't know. I'm just utilizing the space the best that I can. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Do you have a fence around your plot? I have a fence around the whole back garden, not specifically around the vegetable plot though. One thing I'm doing a little differently in my vegetable garden this season than I did last year is I had a ton of sunflowers mixed with all the vegetables, and I'm not really doing the sunflowers. I expect some of them might volunteer themselves from the previous season, but if they don't volunteer, I don't think I'm really planting them this season. I love them, but they take up a lot of room. What is my name? My name is Lisa, and my gardening channel is Growing on Vancouver Island. So, I have a few left in the bag, but not many. I'm just going to disperse them out. I probably will separate them a little bit more. Just kind of getting them into the soil here. Some of them have sprouted, not too many, but a few. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cover this with the soil, North Pacific, Pacific Northwest, so yeah, North Pacific. This is zone 7 to 8 in the hardiness zones. Oh, you're welcome. My bag is starting to get empty, but I do have another partial bag of sea soil if we empty this one. I'm still hard at work, my dear friend. You're always awesome and still here. Oh, thank you, Grandma Sandy. Yes. Thank you for your presence. I was so lucky with the weather today. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. It was really the perfect day for this. It just started raining here. How's the weather? Oh, it is beautiful. It's sunny. It's warm. I'd say it's about 16, 17 degrees Celsius. I don't know the Fahrenheit conversion. And the only issue is the wind. It's an icy wind, but overall it's really, really beautiful out this afternoon. It's about, oh, I don't know what time it is, 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock here. I'm not really sure. In the evening. Just started raining. Well, your flowers should love the rain. I have a feeling that we're gonna have a really bad drought this year. I was watering some of my other garden earlier and everything seems so dry. The trees are just sucking up the water when you water them, like my apple trees. They were just so thirsty. And it's only April, which is really, really frightening. We've had bad droughts before, but we haven't had one in a while. So I'm really hoping that's not what the forecast is for, but we haven't had much rain this spring. And normally this area is supposed to get quite a bit of rain, so that is a little bit concerning. It's so dry. It is so dry, CR. You're in Western Canada, so what province are you in? Oh. You're in Ontario, Zone 6B, and CR. You said you were in Western Canada in one of your videos, but I thought you were on the east, or the central. So I'm just covering these guys with some sea soil. We just planted 160 onions in this garden, and a whole pile of potatoes a little earlier. I'm just trying to get them all covered up now. That is not coming out all the residual soils here. I think I almost need to dig up some native soil for this area too. I'm trying to get all the last bits of sea soil out of the bag. And now I get my other bag of soil. Hello. In your area. Oh, that's nice. A little chillier than where I am. Are you in Ontario, CR? Hello, I've never heard of sea soil. Oh, yes. It is made from ingredients from the ocean. Things like seaweed and kelp. They turn it into a beautiful compost for the garden. And the plants go bananas for it. Similar principle to seaweed extract or kelp meal. I don't know if those things are only available in the Pacific Northwest or ocean areas of the world. I don't really know if other countries use seaweed in their gardening and their farming, but if they don't, they should. I mean, I would think seaweed should be available worldwide. Another fertilizer I have tried, but I don't love it that much, is actually like a fish fertilizer. The plants love it, but it has an odor, and also I just don't like it very much. I just did a few spring gardening tasks. What did you get up to, CR, in your garden today? I'm just covering the last few onions here. See if I can move the camera a little more. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's not many left to cover, just a few. Chop and draw. Oh, fun. What were you chopping and dropping? Were you pruning and chopping and dropping? Or was there something else that you were chopping and dropping? If you are new to the chat, I mentioned this earlier, but this live stream was actually by a viewer request. Somebody in one of my comment section on another planting video asked me to do a live planting video, so I was a little hesitant to try doing a live planting video, but so far it's worked out pretty well, so I'm really happy that somebody made this suggestion. And if you have any video ideas that you would like me to do, just put them in the chat or one of the comments of the videos. I read all the comments, and I'm always looking for more inspiration, whether it is a planting video or a garden tour or a nature expedition. I go into nature and I do some walks and forest bathing and meditations. So if you're interested in anything that comes up that you haven't seen on my channel, is maybe a location on Vancouver Island you'd like to check out, let me know in the comments. And I often make videos from viewer suggestions. I've only gotten a few suggestions, but 98% of the time, if it's something reasonable, I will make the video. So if you have an idea you'd like to see, let me know in the comments and you might see the video on this channel. Broadcast out coffee grounds. Oh, I've used coffee grounds from Starbucks before. I don't have any right now, but I don't drink coffee, so I don't get any myself. Oh, you recorded a video about broadcasting coffee grounds. That's fun. I would look forward to that. Okay, we're gonna dump this sucker. Kind of hard to compost at minus 30. What? Minus 30 degrees Celsius? Crazy. Well, I got all 160 onions planted, and this is how my hands are looking. I will give you a little look so you can kind of see the planting area. And that is all for this planting video. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden. I had a really good time. Lots of people stopped by. And thank you very much, Erin. I needed the encouragement and I'm all done. So we're good. Thank you, and we will see you soon in another video. I don't know what that's going to be, but we'll get something going. I hope you guys have a lovely day, evening, or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye. Ooh, how do I turn this off?